So I'm sitting here in St Edward's Church in Selly Park, Birmingham, the place where Phil Lynott was baptised, and only a few hundred yards away from where Phil was born. And it's interesting, I think, looking at his book of poetry, the final poem in his first collection is called A Song for While I'm Away, and it seems particularly pertinent to this moment. A Song for While I'm Away. These words I wrote, play and sing for you, do not convey the love I brought and bring to you. For this is a song for while I'm away, to say all things I'd love to say. You are my life, my everything, you're all I have. You are my hopes, my dreams, my world come true. You're all I have. Please heed me now, these words I have to say. Now I'm headed for the border. You see this song, it ends right at the start. I swore when I was younger, no one would win my heart. And faraway hills look greener still, but soon they'll all slip away. It's then I'll be returning, and I'll be coming home to stay. I'm going to read one of his poems, which seems appropriate in this context. A Holy Encounter. Chatting today with some friends who'd been away and become friars, gave them my one-man show, told them a joke or two, and did a Mickey take of Johnny Maguire. And we laughed. Ho, ho, ho. Isn't it grand? Isn't it swell? You never could tell. We were in the same choir. Father Macaulay and Father McCann, I used to call him Danny. Someone shouted from a car. Turning to see, I saw it was Danny's old girlfriend, Annie. And we laughed. Ha, ha, ha. Isn't it grand? Isn't it swell? Heavens above, to think once they both made love. I had to go to the shop. I had to buy a lot of groceries. Told them to pray for me. Annie came for tea. Later, I got to touch her knee during rosary. And we laughed. Ha, ha, ha. Isn't it grand? Isn't it swell? You never could tell how she fancied me. So we're here in St Edward's Church in Selly Park in Birmingham, the place where Phil Lynott was baptised on the 4th of September 1949. This poem is called Sarah. Captain's hair shone softly in the sun, rode on his best mare to Sarah. Schoolboy eyes would stare in innocent fun, never told no lies, he loved Sarah. Whispered by bramble, carried by brook, to every fisher's hook, Sarah. Fragrant fields, playing croquet in the sun, nothing appeals like Sarah. I'm standing here in the Dublin Quays, this dockland area that Phil Lynott used to come to in his youth, and he wrote this poem, a song in fact, that was originally recorded in 1971, but was never released until 1990 when it was released on the New Day EP. But in fact, the lyric was printed in the Book of Verse, Songs for While I'm Away by Phil Lynott. This is called Dublin. After our affair, I swore that I'd leave Dublin. And in that line, I left behind the years, the tears, the memories, and you in Dublin. At the quays, friends come to say farewell. We'd laugh and joke and smoke, and later on the boat, I'd cry over you. How can I leave the town that brings me down, that has no jobs, is blessed by God, and makes me cry? Dublin. And at sea, with blowing hair, I'd think of Dublin, of Grafton Street and Derby Square, those of whom I care, and you in Dublin.
I've done 3 books of poetry, and I don't know, poetry to me is very sophisticated word to use, you know. Really, I work in lyrics because of the songs, you know. But there's some lyrics that just won't make it to music, you see. So a friend of mine called Peter Fallon, who
Peter Fallon, yes,
is a well-known poet around, he said you should do a book, because in the early days I used to play the folk circuit, you know, I'd play up in Slattery's or something. So they'd have a poet on, he'd read, then I'd get up and I'd play a couple of acoustic numbers, and then, you know, it was like that. So it became a mutual admiration society. I began to get into the poetry and realised that it was more than just pretty words, you know, and they got into the music. And one of them said, like, your lyrics are not that bad, you know, you should try and print them. And that's all you have to say to me, give me the spark of an idea and I'm off and running. So I brought out the first book. And with the poetry, as opposed to the records, now the records I do anything, like I'm on telly here tonight, promoting, in fact, the new record. The new record is called The Adventures of Timothy. But most of the time, with the poetry I try and keep it very low key, because I don't want to be criticised.
Yeah, by poets.
Yeah, well, by anybody.